ChatGPT. All right. We can say hello now. Hi everyone, welcome back to Share is Good.
Welcome to Share is Good.
Last week we didn't make a live because we went on vacation. We took a break because we've been doing this for a year now. It was time for us to take a little bit of a break. So,
Yay!
kudos. Good for us for practicing self care.
Yeah, hanging in there for a whole year.
Yeah. And we like to say thank you to all the people who have
all of our subscribers.
Yes, all the people who have supported us, all the subscribers have supported this channel, I should say, and who has consistently watched our videos and watched our lives. And hello, welcome new people that come and watch our lives and our videos. Feel free to watch all of our videos because we have a bunch of different recipes that we know you will like. So enjoy them and try them out. And we always love to interact with you guys. So feel free to leave comments, even on the live. Like you can get into the chat and talk to us in the chat. If questions, we go through the chat and we answer your questions right here on live. So
and shout out to our number one fan, our neighbor Deborah. Love you.
Thank you for watching our videos for so long and trying out the recipes and giving us your feedback on them. So you guys try it out too and let us know how it goes for you. Let's see. Oh, we have a Q&A for you today. We're doing, let me see.
So we have 15 questions. We'll try to get through all of them, but we'll absolutely do 10, at least 10. So one of our first questions, the first question actually is, what are your favorite healthy meals to make in under 30 minutes? So my favorite meals to make in under 30 minutes, well, my number one is soup. I love making vegetable type soups. As long as it has like vegetables, you can, you just chop up your vegetables, you throw in some beans, and you throw in some noodles, and maybe some tomato sauce or chopped tomatoes or some soups. You could do even like a really quick easy soup is a cabbage soup, and I love my soups. I love my soups, especially the vegetable soups, like number one for me.
So for me, my favorite things to make is not necessarily just meals. My favorite things to make in under 30 minutes would be a fruit salad, ice cream, I would say pasta. Because the pasta I make, I use chickpea pasta or lentil pasta. That one takes about 10 minutes to cook, maybe 15 minutes the meal at most. I have like vegetables in it. Yeah, it'll be like chickpeas or lentil pasta with vegetables, um, some sauce, whatever sauce I want to use for it. Yeah, that's my favorite things, and I'm pretty sure there are other things I like to make under 30 minutes, but that's all I have to think about right now. So next question would be, how can I make comfort food healthy without sacrificing flavor? Well, we never sacrifice flavor here. If you're sacrificing flavor, I don't know what you're doing. You don't want to eat. That's what it is. But you never sacrifice flavor. Put flavor in all your meals. Unless it's something that's already flavorful, but even then you can still add flavor to, I would say, a healthy, to me, a healthy comfort meal that you can add flavor to would be, some people disagree. That's her. I'm vegan, so my thing would be sweet potatoes. I like to add like maple syrup or cacao for a different flavor. I have some vanilla, so I might add vanilla or like different fruit. I like to add fruit to it. To me, it's a comfort meal because it makes me feel comfortable and good and cozy, especially in wintertime. So for me, that's the comfort meal. And yeah, like again, it already comes with its own flavor. But if I want to add different flavors onto it, it's usually like um, fruit. I'll add to it. You can eat like I like to have my sweet potato with cherries sometimes. Mango. I love it with mango. Um, Another comfort meal that's healthy. It says keeping it healthy without sacrificing flavor. Another one would be I would say That's healthy. I don't know because most of my stuff is healthy. I would say okay, tofu. I would say the way you can make tofu, the way you can make tofu a comfort meal without sacrificing flavor, because anyone who knows tofu, it's bland. Tofu does not have flavor, but it absorbs flavor very, very well. So with tofu, with it being so bland with no flavor, to make it a comfort food that has flavor, I would say I like to put barbecue sauce on it. I like to fry it up and put barbecue sauce on it. And then I'll eat it with some rice. Um, or my lazy way to make it would be to put it in the oven in the oven with some whatever sauce I want, whether it be tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, whatever sauce I want, and I would some salt. So you might want to put a little bit extra salt on it because tofu is kind of bland, and even though it absorbs flavor well, you want to put a little bit extra salt. Um, Sometimes I put jerk sauce, like jerk seasoning on there, or and then I'll have it as like a sandwich. So you'll pick like a nice like healthier bread to eat, so it could say that that bread will definitely make it a comfort food because bread is not necessarily the healthiest thing, but at least American bread is not. So pick the healthiest bread you could find and make it into a sandwich. That's what I do. So and I'll put toppings on it like avocado or mushrooms, like sauteed mushrooms, bell peppers. I love it. And I actually have the recipe actually on this channel for what I just told you about. It's actually on this channel, so you can find that, and you can also find the sweet potato recipe as well on another live. Also probably somewhere on this channel you can see the another full video. So check out those videos just so you can see exactly how I make my stuff. Lentil burgers, another thing. Make my own, like, that's comfort food, but because lentils is a lot healthier than like other burgers that are fried and so you want to answer the question?
So, for Robbie to answer that question, it's very different because being that she's vegan, she's already starting with eating
Healthy.
healthy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's not so comfort food for her is off the top healthy, whereas when you're just a regular everyday eater, you're carnivore, you're eating meats, you're
Or
eating
cheese, dairy.
yeah, stuff like that. Um, it's different. Okay, so um how do we make those healthy? So I think to the first thing you want to look at is what makes it unhealthy, right? So meat is hard to digest on the body, right? You have pork that has carry worms, and it's probably the hardest thing for your body to break down and digest. So if you're eating pork and if that's a comfort food for you, I would suggest number one, you have to be really careful with the things because this is what makes it even unhealthier, right? Is the things that we put on it. So you don't want to put a lot of sugar or things or different ingredients on it that salt have salt in them, right? You can absolutely do not ever um, try to tenderize any of your meats with a meat tenderizer. Meat tenderizer is not it's not something that is only activated when it touches food and when it's like cooking. Meat tenderizer is always active. So when you eat food, whether you boil it or fry it, whatever you do with it, once you put meat tenderizer on your food, it's tenderizing. And it doesn't stop. Even when you eat it, it's still tenderizing. So in your belly, it's tenderizing and it's eating your insides up. So that's one thing that you want to not use. Don't use meat tenderizer. If you have a meat that needs to be tenderized, two things you can do. Um, and if it's tough, definitely tenderize it because your body needs that. Two things you can do is number one, get it at a thinner sliced, uh, like thinly sliced, and then you want to pound it out with those meat tenderizers, like the metal ones with the prongs on it. Pound it out, and that breaks the tendons in it, and that makes it, you know, easier for your body to digest. Don't use meat tenderizer. Another thing you can use as a substitute as for meat tenderizer is lemon. Lemon will definitely tenderize, and it's not harmful to your body. Lemon is will help alkaline your body. It's not going to break your body down unless you're just eating it, in large quantities, and just straight. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing, that's two things. Number one, use herbs and spices. And if you use some herb, and watch the herbs and spices you use, because if you use single ones, they have different tastes. But for the most part, to really bring out that taste, it should have a little bit of salt, just a little bit. And that's what you want to do. And if you're going to get like the combinations of seasonings, look in them and see how much salt. Look at the salt content, because, you know, a lot of people just buy different seasonings like onion powder, garlic salt, garlic, onion salt, stuff like that. You don't want to use a bunch of different things that have salt in them, because then it's just going to be salty. So another way to season foods is, like Robbie said, not just with vegan foods or vegetables and fruits. You can use fruit to season your foods. And if you're not into using that, because I'm not eating pizza with pineapple on it, sorry. But if you're not, so if you're not into using fruits as seasonings, then use like regular herbs and spices that don't have salt, and then add a little bit of salt. And then there are also a lot of things that you can eat that don't require a lot of seasonings. Like if you're making a steak, you want to make a steak, it's salt and pepper. Salt and pepper all the way. That's it. You don't put a lot of salt on it. Don't put any other things on it. And you will have the most delicious steak you're going to have if you just use salt and pepper, right? And that's pretty much it. Just, use regular seasonings, spices, natural herbs and spices, and minimize the salt you have in there, and you'll have all the flavor that you're looking for. Again, learn which spices go with what. I also use wine, but if I'm gonna use like stuff like wine or bouillon cubes, I'm not putting salt in, because those things already have salt. You can use bouillon. You can use um, different great not gravies. What are those broths? Different things like that. And then you can also just use like I said, you can use vegetables. Different types of vegetables will also add different flavors and tastes to your dishes. Okay, so next question is, so question number 3 is, what are the best high protein meals for busy weekdays? All right, so high protein, um, like when you go to any restaurant, like if no, I won't say any restaurants, but you have, several restaurants out there that they have protein bowls. So if you look at the protein bowls, you're gonna see chicken and um, corn, and um, you're gonna see like some type of pasta in them, or mashed or potatoes, stuff like that. What would you say if you were to make a protein bowl? What would you make?
Um, so if I would make let me read the question again. A protein. Well, I'll answer her question real quick. If I was to make a protein bowl, for me there would be my protein. I use either tofu, beans. I'm talking about the most potent form of protein. So it would be either tofu, beans, seaweed, um, some grains, because as a vegan, pretty much everything I eat, or at least majority of things that I eat, have protein as long as it's in its whole form, such as like beans. Beans. I usually like will either eat it from a can or from the dry pack. So when you eat it from the dry pack, it's most potent. In the can, it's gonna be a little bit less potent than its nutrients will be a little less potent than when you have to get it from the dry pack and you have to um put water on it so it can expand and everything and soften up so that you can cook it. So that's how like I'll try to go to like the most potent sources, and keep in mind that the meat you eat is packed with protein, but the meat you eat, including the fish, is a secondary source. Every animal gets their protein, every nutrient in their body, they get it from the primary source, which is nature. So fruits, vegetables, any plant that they
Yes,
eat,
greens.
that's the primary source. So I get my protein from the primary source. So kale is packed with protein. So I would have more greens that are like packed with protein. So for me, it'd be the greens I would eat would be spinach, which is more higher in iron than its protein. But then I got my kale, which is very high in protein. And then you could have like I'll say like mustard greens, alfalfa. Alfalfa is very potent. You could get so those things. Oh, sprouts. If you like sprouts your beans, you don't have to, but if you eat any type of like bean sprouts, anything like that, then you can get really potent nutrients from sprouted and pretty much anything sprouted, like beans or rice. You get a lot of protein from that. Carbohydrates mostly come from rice, but you can still get a good source of protein if it's sprouted. Um, so yeah, I'll say beans, greens, and then also fruit also has protein. I don't know if people really know that, but fruit does have protein. Um, but my strongest form of protein would be like I said, um, what I just said, the tofu, beans, uh, was it the
Yes.
huh? I said
The greens,
yeah,
beans,
greens,
greens
leafy
and beans.
greens, mm-hmm, and uh, seaweed like sea moss, spirulina, moringa, those type of plants as well. Those leafy greens as well have even more potent than like kale and spinach and that stuff. Even more potent than that. So those would be that's everything I would put together in my protein bowl. The beans, the quinoa. Quinoa has a lot of protein. Um, but the question is what are the best high protein meals for buying for a busy week? Yeah, what I just mentioned, like what I usually do to make my meals if I want to meal prep, I usually put beans with rice and vegetables, and that's already a high protein packed meal. Um, Also, if I'm saying like if I don't want like beans, then I'll have like a nice big salad. A lot of people eat salads because they don't really like salads. People don't really like to have their greens, but I love my greens. So I'll have a nice big bowl of salad and I'll have quinoa with it. That's protein packed. And also you wanna like try to get your greens, your leafy greens, like fresh. Like when you go to the grocery store, try not to buy like the in the pack and the pre-packaged ones. It's fine. You're still gonna get your protein from it. But I would say what's best is the stuff that's not pre-packaged because they go through a washing process and that washing process might not be like the best to hold the nutrients. So um what else?
And if you're gonna buy salads, those packaged salads, you wanna make sure you intend to use them pretty much right away because they go that fast. So when I like to buy them because they're very convenient. But I also I buy Caesar, and you want to get romaine lettuce. Stay away from iceberg lettuce because that's lettuce is not for us to consume. You want to eat romaine lettuce all the time. And if you're gonna make a salad, I always mix my salad with some other type of mixed greens or a high protein pack or everything in a salad, everything you need, like type of bag, like the Southwestern or something like that, because they have, um, then you're gonna have your kale, you're gonna have your um, carrots and onions and all types of different cabbages and stuff like that that doesn't come in ordinary like garden salad or Caesar salad. But even with all of that, make sure you eat those salads like within like a day, no more than 3 days, because it does start to go bad. And once it goes bad, even though it's not going to be every part of it is bad, that once one part starts to turn bad, that stuff just kind of spreads it all through the whole thing, whether you can see it on it or not. It's like if you have something with a mold spore over here, those spores are everywhere. It may not be stuck on every part of it, but it just spreads all over. So that stuff is just no good. Just get rid of it.
Right. Protein meals. I would say that consists of my high protein meals, and I just kind of like experiment with it, have fun, and just learn. I put different things together to make the meal. So my biggest advice was like, whether you are eating meat or not, go to like where the nutrients are the most potent, and usually it's the primary source, which is nature, the plants. And I don't know, and I know that like people don't know this, but when it comes to seasoning food, seasonings are just simply plants. Seasonings like salt,
Spices.
yeah, like minerals like salt, or yeah, spices, oregano. Like when you have those dry seasonings in the containers that you buy, and you sprinkle over your food to season, that's literally just plants. So your food pretty much doesn't taste good without plants anyway. And I don't think people realize that. Like when you season your food, you're seasoning it with plants. So that's because that's as humans, that's what we like. We like the taste of plants. So um without it, it doesn't have like, when people season with ginger and garlic, um again, oregano, parsley, that's all plants. Tomatoes, you having tomato sauce on your pasta, different things like that. Again, salt is a mineral. So pepper, that's, I guess, a plant. I have to do more research about pepper, but cayenne pepper, that comes from, the it's like a bell pepper. Like we know what a pepper looks like. A fresh pepper. That when it's dried and ground down into that powder, you're literally just sprinkling pepper, like a whole pepper, on your food. That's a plant. So, which I don't. People say they don't like vegetables, but then why are you seasoning your food if you don't like vegetables? You don't need seasonings then, but you do because you like vegetables. You just don't understand how what the flavor of the vegetables are doing to your dishes. So I just want to make that clear for people who don't understand. Like who would say, "Oh, I don't like vegetables." I know people who like they don't like vegetables. Well, then that means you don't like to season your food. Then, and if you like to season your food, then you do like vegetables. Most of seasonings is vegetables and minerals, which is salt. So I just want to say that. We're going on to the next question.
Which healthy which healthy pantry staples should everyone keep on hand? So, my pantry has clothes in it, but if it had in it what it should have in it, I would have. You're gonna have like dry goods in a pantry because your pantry is for storage, right? So you're not gonna have like wet stuff that's gonna dry up and go bad in there and have the place all stinky, icky. You want to have dry stuff. So you got your beans, you have your rice, you have um food wise, what else? Beans, rice, like your box goods, right? Like cake mixes, I guess, or pancake mix.
That's always healthy pantry staples. Pancake mix don't sound healthy to me.
Pancake mix, okay, well, flour, different types of flours, flour, like baking flour, stuff like that. You could have like your cornmeal and oatmeal and cream of wheat, that grits, you know, that's dry and it's gonna has like a life shelf life, right? Anything that has a shelf life, things that have an expiration date. Like I'm not gonna put a tomato in there because it doesn't have an expiration date. It just sits there and goes bad, you know. So those are the type of things that you would have in your pantry that you want to keep in your pantry.
All right, so what I feel like about things that go in the pantry healthy, which healthy pantry staples should everyone keep on hand? I think that every pantry staple that people should keep on hand is fresh, organic, everything. If it's organic rice or organic beans or stuff like the dried beans, I feel like everyone, because I feel like you get more for less money with the dried beans. Um, so those are the two. And also with some of the things that she mentioned, I would say do your research because there are a lot of things that people think are healthy that are not healthy at all. At all. And you want to do your research to understand what is actually healthy versus what is not healthy so that if you want your pantry to actually be filled with healthy stuff, you stick to those things. I say keep it as organic as possible. And um and I would also say for me, like I said, for me my go-tos when it comes to flour would be chickpea flour, spelt, um, quinoa flour, um, rye flour. Those are four that I can think about right now. Like I said, dry beans are the best. Canned beans, if you have to, because that's just more convenient. Canned beans are just strictly convenient. But if you want to be really healthy, you go for the dry beans, and then you do the extra work that you got to do to soak them and cook them. It may take a little longer for that process, but it's worth it because, like I said, you get more for less money when you do it that way. Also, that's great to do it that way too because you can also take those dry beans and soak them and actually put them outside and grow yourself some more beans. So then you get some free beans in your yard. You can do that.
Free beans.
Rice, you could do the same thing. That the process of growing rice is crazy to me. But you can also when you everything is fresh and organic, you can actually plant it yourself and put more in your pantry for free. So I would say those things. What else in the pantry? Oatmeal isn't the healthiest. It's not. I don't think it's the worst thing you can eat, but it's not the healthiest thing you can eat either. That has been deemed a super healthy food. It's not. And I know because I feel a big difference in my body when I'm eating oatmeal versus when I'm not. And the difference I feel in my body when I'm eating oatmeal versus when I'm not eating oatmeal, if I eat oatmeal on a regular day, I'm fine, I feel good. If I eat oatmeal after, you know, the day that I work out or even the day after that I do a good workout, my body, I can feel every bit of inflammation. But if I do not eat oatmeal at all, be during after a workout, whether it be the same day, the day after, I won't have any inflammation because of it. Like all the other things I usually eat, um, don't really cause my body inflammation the way oatmeal does. Oatmeal creates a lot of inflammation in the body, a lot, and I only really discover that by like the difference between how I feel when I work out versus when I eat oatmeal and I don't eat oatmeal. And I recognize this is causing me a lot of inflammation because my body will hurt so bad after a workout when I eat oatmeal. And if I don't, and I eat cleaner, then my body won't hurt pretty much at all. Like my muscle recovery is a lot better, a lot faster, and I won't like have my body won't ache. So keep that in mind. Like whatever's causing your body a lot of inflammation, it's not as healthy as they make it seem. Because your body should not be inflamed.
Yeah, and everybody's body is differently. So you have to, like she said, pay attention when you eat things, pay attention to what happens afterwards. Yeah. Right? So you'll know like the things you should not maybe you shouldn't eat in this, maybe you shouldn't eat in that. And don't let people always tell you like, eat this or have this because it works for them. Because again, what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. Next question.
Oh,
Next.
I want to make this clear. Another healthy thing you keep in your pantry is if you cook with oil, I would say avocado oil. If you keep your oil in your pantry, I would say avocado oil. But okay, that's it.
Okay. So, how do you meal prep for an entire week?
So that's easy for me because when I was a dog groomer, I had to meal prep pretty much every day for the week. My meal prep started on either Saturday or Sunday. Those are 2 days I would do my meal prep, either Saturday or Sunday. And so I would, or depending on how much I want to make, I might meal prep on Saturday and Sunday, depending on what I would make. So I would make about 3 different meals, or 2 or 3 different meals throughout the week, because I wanted different meals throughout my week. And sometimes throughout the day, like I didn't want to eat maybe rice and chickpeas with vegetables for lunch and dinner. I might have had lentil soup for dinner and rice and chickpeas with vegetables for lunch. Or, the next day I might switch it up, have the lentil soup for lunch or whatever. And sometimes that's how it goes. But if I make a third meal, just so I can switch it up a bit, that would look for me like just something completely different. Like maybe I would make something, make like tacos or something, like whatever I want to make tacos with, black beans or red beans or something with tortillas. I would make my own tortillas most of the time. Sometimes I would buy like tortillas from the store, but most of the time I would just make my own tortillas. um what else? Oh, or a salad. That's another way. Like I wouldn't meal prep a salad, but I would meal prep what I want in salad. Like I might do like a big pot of quinoa and just have my vegetables kind of like chopped up and sorted for whatever days I want to eat that. But so that's how meal prep is for me, and I always have containers. I would recommend glass containers, but if you can't, if you feel like you're clumsy and you drop it, it'll break, then plastic would be, the way to go. Um, I would say, like, with the containers, you want to have like a lot of containers, and I would put myself in the freezer. So maybe for the first 2 days, I would have about 6 meals in the refrigerator, about 6 meals in the refrigerator, and then the rest of them in the freezer. So I would rotate them by like whatever I took for like lunch and dinner. I would replace it with a frozen meal, and I would put like however many containers I took out, whichever meals I want, put two in the place of that, so that by the time it thaws out overnight. So by the time it thaws out, it's closer to the day that I want to eat it. Therefore, nothing's sitting in my refrigerator unfrozen for more than maybe 2 days maximum. So keep it on rotation. Don't let anything sit in your refrigerator for more than 2 days maximum unfrozen. So that's how I did it.
Okay, so my meal prep is really a process. Okay, so and I also use this to like keep down the expense of buying food. So the first thing I do is I write a list of the meals that I want to have for the week. Right, I sit down and think about what meals I want to have for the week, and then I make my grocery list according to the things that I need to make each meal. Now, this keeps me from walking through the store and just grabbing stuff off the shelf saying, oh, we need this too. Oh, we need this too. Oh, we need this too. It keeps me focused on exactly what I'm going to need for the week, for the meals that I'm making, and for the week. It also keeps me from buying like all this excess stuff that is going to actually go bad, or I'm not going to use in that week, and then I'm going to end up just wasting stuff. It really cuts down the waste because I'm known for like heavily wasting food. So I focus on exactly what I'm going to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the exactly what I need for those meals. I make it my shopping list according to that. And then when I have my shopping list, um, I buy the things I need and I bring them home. Now I do not eat food that's been um sitting in the refrigerator for over 24 hours. I'm not doing that. It for me, it builds up too much bacteria and it's rotten. After 24 hours, it is rotten. I'm not eating it. So, um I will only pull out the things I need for the meal. When it gets closer to dinner time, I pull out maybe by noon, depending on what I'm making and how fast it's gonna thaw out with the temperatures outside or in the house. I pull it out so that by the time I get ready to cook, it's defrosted, or when I bring the meats home, if I know exactly what I'm going to make with them, I will season them right out before as I'm unpacking them. I will sit the meats out from was my husband and my mother eat the meat. So and for the plant-based stuff, I will season it before, instead of just putting it in the freezer, I season it for exactly what I'm going to use it for. I package it up and then I freeze it with the seasonings. So when I pull it out, I know, okay, this was for the breaded chicken cutlets. It's seasoned for that, and then um, I use it for that. I defrost it and use it for that. But I don't let things. I definitely don't let things sit, defrost, put marinade on it, and then sit there for hours in a refrigerator. I'm not doing that. That's super gross for me. Um, I the only time they get to marinate is while they're freezing and during the defrost process. And I also have a chart because it gets too hard to say, okay, what are we having today? It gets to be too much. Like after years and years of cooking every day in and day out, except Fridays, um, and maybe Saturdays. Uh, it gets to be too much. Like figure out, okay, what are we having for dinner tonight? What are we having for dinner tonight? So I have a chart. Like on Mondays is oatmeal for breakfast, um, peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch, and turkey for dinner. And it's Monday through Sunday. I have something different for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's how I build my. That's how I decide what I'm gonna make and build it all out.
What are your favorite budget friendly healthy recipes? Mine are rice and beans, sweet potato, um, I would say spaghetti or pasta with tomato sauce, or I love also pasta with avocado. You just mash it up, make it like almost like a guacamole, and put your pasta in there, mix it up. You can either do that just like that, or you could do that with some vegetables added. What else? Budget friendly tacos using beans with mushrooms. Um, yeah, those are a few of my budget friendly, or lentil soup, because you really, can do a lot, or lentil, I would say lentil patties, because this stuff just doesn't cost a lot to make them. You season them up, flavor them how you want to, and they are very budget friendly. There's a lot you can do on a budget with a vegan diet, because people think that the vegan diet is super expensive. Like the time your meals are expensive, but there's so much you can do that's not expensive, and you are going to be full. You're going to have leftovers, so you can pack it away, eat it for the next day. And it is like those things I just mentioned, very budget friendly. Um, I would say if you want a snack, some popcorn or some uh there's a few things you can do for like snacks, like some carrots or something, just different things you can do. But I would say those are my most budget friendly meals that I mentioned.
So I think, and a really basic way to save money is to buy things that come in large quantities, right? They either have a low price and a nice amount, like pasta. You get so many noodles for $1 and change. You know, what else? Rice. You get so much rice. Like you get even a small bag of rice is gonna last you for days. When you buy stuff like that, like since I eat seafood, I don't eat regular meat, I eat seafood. Um, and I eat plant based, that's not like the most budget friendly, right? Beyond Beef and the chicken nuggets and all of that stuff. Those chicken nuggets get to be nasty, but um, you know that stuff is not that's not as budget friendly. But buying like different kinds of already like cut up and cleaned fish in the packet in the frozen section, that's a lot more budget friendly. And I love to make a fried chicken sandwich. Like I can't take McDonald's. Like I love a fillet of fish, but I can't take McDonald's fish sandwiches. I can't take Burger King's fish sandwich. I can't do that. So I come home and I make my own. When I want a fish sandwich, I get my bun. I do my fish. I put some cheese on it, some tartar sauce, and a pickle or something like that on it, and it is absolutely delicious. Can't be beat. But those are the type of, and if I'm gonna make a meal, I have my fish, I have my vegetable. Mixed vegetables is always like the quickest, easiest way to get a good balance of vegetables, right? Because it's mixed vegetables, right? And when you season them up, it's delicious. And then you have like potatoes. You buy a bag of potatoes. I'm not buying like one individual potato. I'm buying a bag of potatoes. You get $5 for a bag of potatoes. And how many potatoes do you have in there? A bunch, right? So they, add up to like, pennies on a dollar, right? So buying things, like I said, in a larger quantity will help you save money. Also shopping, like I like Sam's Club, I like Costco's, I like BJ's. The quality is, a lot. It may be better than Walmart quality, but at the same time, um, you know, when I shop at Walmart, I'm gonna pick the better quality stuff there. I'm not gonna, you gotta watch your quality at Walmart, definitely. So I'm gonna pick the better quality stuff there. And at the same time, when I'm walking out of Walmart, my cart is 2 to 3 times more fuller when I'm walking out of Walmart for the same price as when I'm walking out of BJ's with this little, 4 or 5 items in my cart, my little $100 cart there. So I do, so I'm a Walmart girl. I'm a Walmart shopper, and again, like rice and you can buy like larger quantities in Walmart and break them down into smaller quantities better, because that's how they sell.
So I want to skip to question number 9 real quick because this question is interesting. How do I add more vegetables to everyday meals? You add vegetables to your everyday meals. So the question is, how do I add more vegetables to everyday meals? You just add them. So there's no other way. You just add them to your meals. Whatever vegetables you feel like you like the most, add it to your meal. If you feel like it's a vegetable you need to start eating because it has whatever nutrients your body needs, that you might be low in, well then season it up really good with the type of seasonings you like, and then have it that way, or try to like mix it into something, so that you can still get the nutrients from it, or buy a vitamin, buy some vitamins. It's up to you, but it's simple. How you add vegetables, you add them. You just simply add them, season them up. You know, make them taste good to you by using other seasonings, salt. Yeah, but now we can. I don't know if you want to say anything
Okay,
about that.
so
But
I'm definitely going to say something about that because I think she just answered it in a funny way,
yeah,
and it's very simple and just it's kind of like common sense, just add them. But I think it's I think the question asked a little more than that. Okay, so I am infamous for adding vegetables to foods, and the way I do it is, um, like I will make a steak and like okay, so I have three kids and they have three different tastes, right? And one likes vegetables, one likes this vegetable, and the other one don't like that vegetable, da da da. So what I had to learn to do was, instead of making different things for three different people, learn how to make one meal that everybody's going to like. So when it comes to vegetables is where where a lot of the differences were. So what I did was, here we go, we're adding vegetables. What I did was I made sauces and gravies for the vegetables, right? So that, sauces and gravies kind of like make the taste of them become, you know, just more flavorful and kind of mix into things better. So that's one thing you can do. I have vegetables for breakfast, and not just like stick vegetables on my plate, but I and my husband, Mister, do I look healthy? No, but in order to get him to eat more vegetables, I start sliding them into his eggs, right? So I'm going to make some spinach, make it taste really good, put wrap it up in an egg like an omelet, and then throw cheese over it, and that's how I get him to have his vegetables in for breakfast, or, just season the vegetables up really good and make them, if you season them up well enough, like I'll make them like very flavorful, and then I'll make him a potato with butter, which isn't the most flavorful, but when he mixes them together, and it makes him want to mix them together to make the potato taste better. So it's little tricks you can do to make vegetables be more palatable, or make them be like the source of eating other things, um, to make other things taste better. Add the vegetables, make sure you flavor them. People don't like vegetables, people don't like anything that doesn't taste good, right? Learn how to flavor vegetables, right? If you have to make a cheese sauce and put it on some vegetables, spinach goes with everything. Spinach goes with everything, right? So learn how to season your vegetables, and people will like vegetables, and you will be able to put them in different things. That's how you add vegetables to anything. Even with a salad, throw veggies in there. Cold vegetables are good. Carrots, corn. Fry up some corn. Fry up some corn. Not a deep fry, but fry up some corn, season it really good, and throw it on a salad. Now you have a Cobb salad. That's delicious. Put spinach in a salad, kale in a salad. Salad is already vegetables. Throw uh vegetables in anything. Mashed potatoes with broccoli. Throw some cheese on that, and man, you can't go wrong. There's a couple of dishes. Maybe I need to make some dishes, with vegetables, some more vegetable dishes, and add them to sure it's good, so we can see like different ways you just throw vegetables into meals. So yeah, season it very well and just put them in.
Let's see if there's any comments. Anyone in the chat? Okay. No.
All right. So we're gonna go back to 8. We skipped number 8, which is, what are the healthiest breakfast ideas that actually keep you full? That is hard. I would love, like, actually keep me full. So I think like scrambled eggs. Now, scrambled eggs with vegetables. When you scramble an egg and put potato in it, you make it like an omelet, and you have or if you're gonna have eggs and potatoes, right? Sometimes you have to have multiple things, several things in there. You're gonna have your sausage, egg, potato, or you're gonna have pancakes and eggs, and you know, um, having multiple things in there. And then if you don't want to eat those type of things, you want to eat, maybe if, like, for someone who's weight conscious, or you're trying to lose weight, you want to put more vegetables into your food. You want to have like an avocado, like sunny side up egg or poached egg with avocado. Um, you can have also things like eggs. Someone, you can have eggs and steak. Steak and eggs is delicious for breakfast. Oh my gosh. I also enjoy. I make my own sausage, but aside from that, I also enjoy eggs. And this is filling. Eggs with like a cheese egg with fish. Yeah, cheese like an egg with fish. Things like that are very filling, and you can add like I like my eggs to have spinach in them. I put red pepper, green pepper, onion, and spinach in my eggs. So when you're making these eggs, definitely adding veggies to your eggs makes them more filling, and add like some type of meat and like potato. That makes a really good rounded breakfast and it tastes really good. And you're gonna have, or you can, if you don't want to add like potatoes, add one thing that's really simple is an egg sandwich. I'm gonna have my scrambled egg, my cheese, and on a bagel. Scrambled egg and cheese on a bagel. Oh, forget it. I'm good for the day. Stuff like that. What's good for you? What keeps you full?
What keeps me full is just eating a lot of everything that I like. As a vegan, I think people don't understand that it's not, you're not going to be full if you don't eat enough. So, what's going to keep you full on any diet is eating enough. So, I would say for me, I'll say my healthiest breakfast idea that keeps me full is a huge fruit salad or a big sweet potato with fruit, or even if I have without fruit, I might have like a sweet potato and a half, or even two sweet potatoes. Um, I'll have like, let's see, those are my two go tos for breakfast. Because sometimes I won't eat sweet things. I like sweet things for breakfast, and those are two sweet things I'll have. But for me, I have even like pasta as like my first thing, my first meal of the day. 'Cause that's what breakfast is, just like breaking your fast from when you were sleeping. So I'll have pasta as my first meal. It's just about or a salad, whatever I decide to start my day with. But my two favorite go tos would be fruit salad or sweet potato or like a baked sweet potato. Baked sweet potato. It was oatmeal, but I stopped eating as much oatmeal because found out that oatmeal isn't the healthiest, and um you're not getting all the nutrients you could get, and oatmeal kind of blocks nutrients from absorbing into your body properly. So I slowed down eating oatmeal, but oatmeal was one of my go tos. Now I'll eat more like, and this is what I was doing for a long time, and I've stopped for some reason because I guess because I can't find it in the grocery store. That's why I stopped buying this. I had to buy it on Amazon. Spelt flakes, or I think they have commute flakes. I haven't tried the commute flakes. I tried a commute in other in a different form, but if you could find like I hope I'm saying it correctly. Commute, spelt flakes, and there's one other one I forgot that they turn into like almost like oatmeal. So the same kind of like consistency in like just like oatmeal. It looks just like oatmeal. Those things I like to eat more to replace oatmeal, and they do not give you inflammation because they're alkaline. So those I was eating spelt flakes for a long time before I went back to eating oatmeal, and that's how I kind of discovered like this oatmeal is giving me some really bad inflammation. So now I'm gonna go back to spelt flakes or commute. I'm gonna try the like commute flakes. I think it's commute flakes, but they have a different thing that's like they kind of put into oatmeal texture and stuff like that. And I'm gonna have those because they did not give me inflammation and they were really good. They were pretty much identical to I'll say the spelt flakes because that's the only one I had other than oatmeal. It was pretty much identical to oatmeal. It just took a few more minutes, not much longer to cook than oatmeal. Just very few minutes, maybe like 5 minutes longer. You have to cook it than oatmeal. Um, so those are my go-tos. Um, Also, I would say other than that, mm, oh, another thing is Smoothies, I like a good smoothie bowl. Like those can be very filling. Smoothies and smoothie bowls, but it's like you have to again have enough of it. So whenever I have a smoothie, I would have like literally like a large amount like this. If it's like a put in a cup, like the cup is like this big. It's a large cup, and you just eat till you're full, and you know when you're full. So that's basically it.
Okay. So the next question is, what healthy snacks can I make at home instead of buying? You want to go on that?
Healthy snacks you can make at home.
One thing we like to we made that we enjoy is popcorn.
Yeah, but I feel like popcorn can be at its healthiest when you make it at home. When you buy the kernels and use
Restaurant
like
kernels.
avocado oil. If you're not using avocado oil, it might not be the healthiest because of the oil, not necessarily because of the popcorn, but because of the oil that you're using that you're consuming. So keep that in mind.
So I like to snack on fruit. Fresh fruit is really good to snack on. I also, since I'm very active and I don't think about drinking and hydrating, so I'm a major dehydrate. So but I find that if I like just keep like a bag of grapes, I will just munch on the grapes. And one of the reasons that I don't hydrate a lot is because I don't like to have to go to the bathroom often. When I'm out and running around and moving around as much as I do, I don't have time to stop and go to the bathroom. And you don't want to be going to everybody's nasty bathroom, right? So I don't drink, so I don't have to go. That is completely unhealthy. That is horrible, and it will cause you a lot of problems. So if I know I'm going to be out for a while and I can't just like say, oh my goodness, I'm thirsty, let me just grab a water, then I will take a bag of grapes with me. So even one grape is super hydrating. And I will just eat, a few grapes. And after I eat maybe like 4 or 5 grapes, I feel very hydrated. And and it actually puts, like if you feel it in your stomach, you feel like you've had something to eat. You're hydrated and you had something to eat. So that's another thing that also helps keep me from, just munching and going for, and it's also, going for like something sugary. You get that taste for something sugary, grab a grape, eat a couple grapes. You're thirsty and you're somewhere where you just can't get something to eat, throw a couple of, eat a few grapes. So grapes help a lot. Well, fruit, pineapple, super hydrating. Watermelon, oh my gosh, you just chew, water. It's just you're just taking in all of that fluid. So those are healthy snacks. Another healthy snack. Um, what other healthy snacks are there?
Well, I like to snack on nuts and seeds. So let me say this like I agree with the fruit because fruit you can actually grow at home. So yes, you can make your own fruit at home, your own vegetable snack on carrots, potatoes, whatever you want, make your own potato chips at home. Um and that's something I've done before. I chopped up potatoes real thin, put some oil over it, again, avocado oil, just a little bit over it, and put it in the oven and let it bake until they start to like brown a little bit. Just a little bit, can get a little tan. And when you take them out, you gotta slice them real thin though, really, really skinny. And when you take them out, you got yourself some homemade potato chips. Um, I've also done that with sweet potato fries. To me, that's a snack, like fries. But other
Also
than
healthier.
other than growing your own fruit and vegetables as a snack, I would say to make at home. I like to make my own homemade brownies and muffins, like little muffins. Because what I use is either agave or maple syrup. I mostly use maple syrup because maple syrup has way more nutrients and it's a lot healthier than agave. But agave is alkaline, so agave is good. But yeah, maple syrup is the best. I use that as my sweetener, and for what I like to do when I'm making my brownies, I'll make it one of two ways. I'll either make it with just flour, and maple syrup, and either sweet potato banana that gives it that like nice gooey fudgy. I want to say fudgy, but yeah, kind of fudgy. And I use cacao, um, and then I'll bake it. Another way I do it that's no bake. You don't have to bake it. You can warm it up if you want to, but if you don't want to bake your stuff, which I'll show this, I'll take dates and I will put whatever I want it with it, whether I want nuts in it or not. I'll put my cacao. I'll put my dates in a food processor. So I'll put in a food processor with the cacao and whatever else I want. Like I said, either I want nuts and seeds in it. If I don't want nuts and seeds, I won't put it in there. And that's a great way to do no bake brownies. And I love it. It comes out perfect. I usually put like also uh coconut shreds. Also like coconut shreds, you can make those at home. Like if you want to make it fresh, then you gotta do more work with the coconut to like get the coconut meat out, and you want to put it in the oven or an air fryer, and that's how you can make your own coconut shreds. But I got my coconut shreds just from the store. Um, yeah, but that's brownies I like to make. Like I said, or cupcakes, little cupcakes. Oh, and another thing I like to do with my cupcakes, sometimes I'll put like fruit on them too, or I'll put fruit in the middle and let it bake like that. So it'll be like a nice cupcake with fruit in it. I like that as well. Um, Let's see. So those are my things I like to snack on. But there's more snacks I like to make, like to have. Oh, another thing is my own like little bars. Like I wouldn't call it protein bars, because the only protein I have to it will be either nuts or seeds. So I can call it protein bar, but I don't. I just call like my little bar, which again I'll either use usually I'll use cacao. I mean, sorry, yeah, not necessarily cacao. I use dates for it because the dates make everything stick together. And I'll throw like nuts and seeds in there. You can add dates are already sweet, so you don't need to add any other sweetener. But if you want it to be more sweet, you can add like again maple syrup or cacao to drizzle over it. So those things I like to make and throw like a bunch of nuts and seeds together. Again, food processor, and with the you can add vanilla if you want to it. I have Madagascar vanilla, so you can add that to it. Get that nice vanilla flavor. So those are things I like to keep at home and have um yeah in the refrigerator until I'm ready to eat it. Yep. Make my own ice cream with bananas at home. Those are the snacks I like to make at home.
Okay, one last question we're gonna go do. And this is what are the biggest mistakes people make when trying to eat healthy? So, um, so when people, okay, so if you feel like you're not eating healthy and you're gonna change to a healthier diet, one thing you have to understand is any change you make has to be sustainable, right? So if you're going to make it into a drastic change, you're not going to be able to keep up with it. So if you want to eat healthy, you want to you want to substitute things out. You don't want to just drop things, right? So they have no carb diets, they have no protein diets. They have all these different diets where you're just dropping complete like types of foods. I I think that the best thing you should do is to minimize, like bring it down a notch, and gradually decrease the things that you're eating that aren't healthy, right? Gradually, just wean them out and just maintain a balance of things, not just cutting out, you know, any one particular thing. Gradually work yourself off them. Do your research first and find out like what things are that you're eating are healthy and what things you're eating aren't healthy. And a lot of times you're gonna find that things that you are eating that you think are healthy are not as healthy as you think they are, and they have a healthier substitute. So it's not about cutting them out, it's about using a healthier substitute. Another thing that people do to eat healthy is um, they uh, one thing you can do to eat healthy is you have to learn the difference between eating to sustain your body and your life and overeating, right? Eating in really large portions, like, I love to go to my favorite restaurants are restaurants that are going to give you big portions. I'm paying a little bit of money and I'm getting all this food. Those are my favorite restaurants, right? But at the same time, I'm not trying to eat everything on my plate. I'm going to eat a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because that's what a portion size. Find out what a real portion size is, and eat portion sizes. Now, if you are accustomed to eating really huge, know what a portion size is, and then gradually reduce what you're eating, right? If you're eating 4 slices of toast, eat 4 slices of toast this week. Next week, eat 3 slices of toast. The week after that, eat 2 slices of toast, or, eat 3 slices. 2 weeks, eat 2 slices. Get it down to, 1 slice. Gradually decrease what you're eating so that you can more effectively eat what's healthy, which is portions, regular portion sizes, and fresh, as much fresh fruits and vegetables. And if you want to cut back on meats, that's fantastic. But again, there are meat substitutes. Use the meat substitutes. Um, so I think those are the biggest things that people have a problem with. If you're overweight and you're drinking diet sodas, so you eat like 40 burgers and 20 fries, and then you're gonna drink that diet coke. I get it. I get it. Like, you're gonna try to cut that sugar somewhere somehow. Cut back on the burgers and fries, and definitely keep up with the diet cokes, because you need to cut out the coke. But at least you're on the right track with cutting back on that sugar. But you need to cut that weight down. So cut down your food, cut down your consumption. That's one of the biggest things that people do wrong, is the consumption of bad items, and eat more, fruits and vegetables.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the question again. What are the biggest mistakes people make when trying to be healthy? So, not, I feel like one of the mistakes that people make is not understanding the level of health they want to be at, or the level of health they need to be at. So, the reason why I say the level of health, because um some people aren't really trying to they're not really trying to change their diet. So with that, you have to understand what level of health you want to be at versus what level of health you're going to be at. Also, that depend go that versus, I would say, the level of health you need to be at versus where you think you should be at. So just because you could be a very healthy person, nothing wrong with you, no illnesses, nothing wrong with you. You could do something simple versus a person who is facing illness or going to face illness. They're like maybe in the pre stages of facing a chronic illness. Don't have much of a choice. They have to make drastic and extreme changes. So I would say when it comes down to um, health, there's levels to it, and I would say, let me read the question again so I can just answer it precisely. But that's what I want to make clear. What are the biggest mistakes people make when trying to eat healthy? I would say that's one of the mistakes. Is like what people believe to be healthy is what they want to be healthy. So people will trick their minds or just lie to themselves, say this is healthy when it's not. I see that very often. Simply because they want something to be healthy when it's not healthy. So they would much rather tell themselves a lie than accept the fact that that's not healthy. In the other cases, like um we've all been lied to about a lot of things that are healthy that are not healthy, but people kind of dead. They're, I would say, I can't. I don't know why I can't think and speak right now. People are kind of stuck on the fact that they were told something was healthy and they can't get out, they can't get away from the fact that they're finding out later on in life it's not actually healthy. So to make that separation, I think is a huge mistake why a lot of people can't get healthy because the lies that we've been fed for so long that now that research is going deeper and discovering the real nutritional benefits and what the processing is doing, that's the struggle that people have with actually eating healthy and maintaining healthy things. Is that one, people lie to themselves and they don't want to change. Um, and then even if you have to change, people already don't want to change, so they'll struggle with that. If you don't want to change, you're going to struggle with anything that you have to change in terms of being healthy. So that's the point that I want to make. You have to be ready to do deep research, and you have to be ready to. And this is what she said about making. I want to say you said, but when you mention sustainability, this is what makes it sustainable. You have to want it bad enough to do what it takes to actually be healthy. And recognize if you make a mistake, it doesn't eliminate your process. It might slow it down a bit. It won't eliminate your process. You just learn and you do better. So if you make a mistake with something, like I have done on my vegan diet, I have made a few mistakes, not knowing that something might have had like eggs or some type of dairy in it. But once I learned that I didn't eat it again. So but for me, I'm not working towards like any type of goal. I'm just vegan and that's it. So I don't have any goals I'm working on. But someone who's chronically ill and they want to heal themselves with more of a natural diet, they would have to go more of an extreme route. And the extreme routes, you're gonna feel the extreme. You're gonna feel it. Because if you have to go an extreme route, like just eating like a fully raw diet of fruits and vegetables, or just fruit, or you have to fast, like that's gonna take like a toll on you if you're not mentally prepared. So that's another big thing. Like again, you have to be like mentally and emotionally prepared for this change, which there are a lot of people who are not. And then you also have to, which makes it sustainable. You also have to go against people who want to tell you your diet is wrong and you're gonna get sick, you're gonna die. And you. This is what I'm about. You have to do the deep research because if you don't do the research to learn how to do something properly, again, it's not gonna be sustainable. So and you're not going to be able to get the results that you want. You won't reach your goals if you're not doing things the right way. So you have to understand the difference between the level of health that you want to be at versus the level of health that you need to be at, like, and what that takes. And you have to be able to do what you need to do in order to get the results that you want. Whether that's losing weight or healing yourself from chronic illness or any type of illness or preventing illness. Because some people are sick, but they're on a way, like they just a few more snacks away from either getting diabetes or cancer or something. And changing your diet drastically before you get to that point can absolutely prevent you from getting chronic illness. 100%. And so I think like learning and understanding that is what will get you there and make sustainable for you. And because sometimes these meals, depending on the reason why you're changing your diet, um, that will determine your how much you get to experiment with that diet. Meaning for me, I could eat cacao, I can eat um there are maple syrup and I would say agave, and I can uh experiment with a lot of vegan dishes that I don't even make myself. I go to a restaurant and it doesn't have to even be the healthiest thing. Vegan pizza. Like I can experiment with a lot of things because I'm not trying to heal from anything, but I also already eat such a healthy diet. Like I don't those are not things I eat every day. So outside of those things, I eat so healthy on a daily basis that which for me eating healthy is I make all my own dishes at home. Meaning, okay, rice with something, either vegetables or avocado, beans, I would say what else would I eat rice with? Just things quinoa with vegetables, beans, something. Um, Different things like that. I eat like then my sweet potatoes, my big bowls of fruit, big salads. That's how I normally eat. You know, um, Cutting out bread, cutting out dairy, those things can actually prevent you from getting illnesses if your body is, suffering from that. Again, cutting out and replacing oatmeal, instead of having oatmeal, having spelt flakes. Stuff like that can really help. Very preventative. And when you eat like that on a daily basis, then you kind of get to indulge in other things that aren't as healthy, but it may be healthier than most of the stuff you see on the shelf. Such as if I want to indulge in, like, again, a vegan pizza. The vegan pizza I eat might be a little healthier than, the regular pizza with cheese, because I'm not eating vegan cheese because I don't like it. But so I'm eating my pizza with sauce and other toppings. My favorite toppings on a pizza would be mushrooms and black olives. Sometimes I have spinach. And then sometimes I even have like more chopped up tomatoes, sprinkle of garlic or something. So it really comes down to where you need to be at. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to add to that. Yeah, I definitely agree with her in terms of knowing where you should be is very important versus where you are and versus where you want to be, right? And another thing is it's really not just important to do your research for yourself to see what is out there about what's healthy and what's not healthy, but you need to really pay attention to yourself and see what's going to work with you. A lot of times they said, like, I've been here for a really long time, so I've been through eras. There's different eras. Like, we go through different eras over time, and there's different eras. At one point, eggs were great for you, and people were eating eggs. Next thing you know, eggs were horrible. They were going to ruin your life. Oh my God, everybody cut back on eggs. You shouldn't eat more than 2 or 3 eggs a week. Oh my goodness, holy roly. Next thing you know, eggs have good proteins. They have a good carbohydrates. They have this, they have that. The cholesterol is good, and I mean, they have been back and forth with this, that, and the other. You really have to um know, like, how it works for you, and just if you keep things in a balance and you don't just overindulge in anything. If you keep things at a good balance and you're not overindulgent, you will do much better off. You will be so much better off because everything said out the mouth is not what it is. It's not going to be said by everybody. It's not going to be 100% true. I don't know how many times this world came to an end and we still here. I mean, come on, everything is not everything. So, do your research, know what works for you, and keep things in a balance. Don't go too far to the left, don't go too far to the right, and be safe. Have a good weight, get your checkups. Don't stick with what doctors say, right? See a nutritionist, see a not medical professionals, health professionals. There's a difference between a nutritionist and a doctor, an MD. A doctor is going to pump you with every kind of poison they can, and when that doesn't work, they'll find a different poison, right? And that's what they live off of. Stick with these nutritionists, these herbalists, stick with people who have, if I'm going to follow somebody, I'm not going to follow somebody who's going to live to be 50, 60 years old as opposed to somebody who's going to live to be 160 years old, 110, right? That's not where I want to, unless I want to die early. If I want to get on out of here, I'm going to listen to this, we get out of here at 60. But if I'm trying to live a long, healthy life, there's a reason people live these long, healthy lives because they're doing certain things that prolong their existence. So, find out and trust me, they're not using these prescription medications. So, find out from better sources, right? Don't just stick with a doctor, a medical doctor. Also have a nutritionist, somebody that knows herbs and stuff like that can help you do better for yourself. And that's, unless you have something else to say, I think that's going to be it for us for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Great seeing you guys again. Like, subscribe, share. Always watch our videos to the end. We love you, love you, love you. Thanks for everything. And we'll see you back. And sure is good. And again, also next Thursday, also next Wednesday, 5:30.
All right. Bye.